Good, so welcome. This is the third video for the digestive system. In this video, we'll discuss two topics. Number one, we're going to discuss the alimentary canal, okay, and peristalsis. So your alimentary canal is basically one long continuous canal that starts at the mouth, okay? It starts at the mouth and it ends, here let me see if I can give you a better perspective here, and it ends at your anal canal, okay? So it's just one long continuous tube. Okay? So this long continuous tube, okay, is broken down into two different canals. Your upper alimentary, which begins at your mouth, okay, where you begin chewing, the chewing process, the mechanical breakdown of food, if you remember from the previous video. Okay, let me deselect all of this, and then your food goes down into what's called your oropharynx. Okay, this is also part of your respiratory system. Your oropharynx, and then just inferior to that you have, see if I can center this a little bit better. Just inferior to that you have your laryngopharynx, okay? And then this long tube which leads into the stomach is called your esophagus, okay? So you can see here as I rotate this to the posterior side, the esophagus ends at the stomach. All right, highlight that stomach. Okay, so again, this is your upper alimentary canal, and then as you see, you can see here where the stomach ends, this is where your lower alimentary canal. So let me highlight the whole lower so you can see that. Okay, so this is the distal aspect of your digestive system. All right, so here the upper alimentary ended with the stomach, and then begins what's called the duodenum. This is your small intestine. I'm rotating it posterior, and you see the duodenum kind of curls around on the posterior aspect of the stomach. And where the duodenum ends, you have the other part, the proximal part of your small intestine called the jejunum. Okay, so here's the jejunum. And then as you can see here, it's winding down. And then the next, okay, your posterior or your distal intestine. Distal means just furthest away. And this is the furthest part of the intestine that's furthest away from the stomach. Okay, your distal intestine, your ileum. And then as you can see, your ileum winds over here, and then it comes in, and it marks the beginning of your large intestine, okay, which is this entire part right here. So this is the cecum portion of the large intestine. And then you have your ascending colon, because it's ascending. And then you have the part of the colon that transverses your abdomen. This is your transverse colon. Okay, so you have your ascending, transverse, and take a while to guess what this is. If this is ascending, then this is your descending colon. Okay, it's your descending colon, and then it goes into what's called your sigmoid colon. So at this point in the digestive system, you're mostly looking at fecal matter, feces, and it's getting ready to be wasted or excreted. So this is your waste product, and then you have your rectum, and then finally your anal canal. Okay, and that's the last distal part of your alimentary canal. All right, so now that we've gotten a view of your digestive system, let's look at the accessory organs. Okay, let's look at the organs that aid in the digestion of food. And then in another video, we're going to look at each of these organs and see what specific functions they have. So let's just get familiar with their location and names. This is the salivary glands, okay? And you have these on both sides of your jaw, your salivary glands. And then we're going to go down. We're going to take a tour down. So here's your esophagus, if you remember. And now we're going back past the thoracic cavity, and now I'm back into the abdomen. Okay, and here's your liver. Okay, you should be familiar with your liver from our arterial video where we discussed the hepatic artery. Okay, so here's your liver. You get a better perspective. All right, so let me take away these highlights, and just on the on the base of the liver here, you'll see a little bulb. That's your gallbladder. Okay. And again, let me remind you that we will discuss what these the functions of these accessory organs are. So here's your gallbladder, and then just below your liver and behind, posterior to your stomach, you have your pancreas. Let me rotate it posterior so I can get a better view here. So here is about just below the level of your free ribs, okay, your floating ribs, you have your pancreas. Okay. And take note that these accessory organs, for the most part, with the exception of the salivary glands, they're all in the same neighborhood. Okay? Alright, so that's your accessory organs. Now let's take a look at how food is moved throughout the body. So food is moved down through the entire canal through this long tubing via a process called peristalsis. And basically what that is that it's a rhythmic contraction of muscles that starts at the esophagus. So as the food that's being moved down, the muscles that are in front of the food will relax, and the muscles that are just behind and around the food will contract. That rhythmic contraction moves the food smoothly down the esophagus into the stomach and through the small intestines. So you'll notice that the intestines are really windy and curvy, but because of the rhythmic motion of the muscles and how they relax and contract, they're able to move the food, okay, or the chyme, pretty easily throughout the entire intestine. And as that's happening, you have a lot of little tiny villi, absorption cells that are absorbing nutrients and water throughout the entire process. Okay, and that's basically peristalsis.